Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of the Outlier Podcast. Today is a Wednesday. Rather, a question is today a Wednesday or a second Monday? Because that's what I'm still thinking about after Veterans Day off. So we got Chris with us. So hi Chris, how are you doing, sir?
Good. Yeah. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. So Chris, thank you for joining today's podcast. We really appreciate it. Uh, Quick introduction: who Chris is a very known face in the credit union ecosystem, having spent more than 2 decades in the space, actually close to 2 decades. So Chris is the chief experience officer, he's the chief member experience officer at ORNL Federal Credit Union based in Knoxville. Uh, he has joined back ORNL after a stint of around 8 years. After going out, now he's leading experience. A very forward-thinking, progressive leader. We reached out to Chris on LinkedIn as random people who wanted to bring him to the podcast, and he was kind enough uh, to actually agree to come to the podcast. So, Chris, thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Let's start with the first question that I usually start with is sharing journeys, right? So, Chris, do you want to talk about your journey? I mean, what has been your journey so far? How did you end up at ORNL and how did you end up at the credit union ecosystem from HSBC?
Yeah. Like you said, I was with HSBC Consumer Finance Division for 7 years, and it was a great place to learn. And like so many during that time, 08, 09, a lot of us lost our job, and we had to reinvent ourselves. And the Great Recession kind of um, took a lot of jobs from a lot of people. So it was at that time I was looking for a new position, and feel really, really lucky to have found the credit union space. Um, in consumer finance, working for a large bank like that, but specifically consumer finance, we were offering 24% personal loans, 15% mortgages. You learn a lot about how to position products and services, and sell. But what we didn't have were the strength and the mission and the core values of the credit union space. So when I found this space, fell in love with it, and been here for 15 years. So.
I think all of us, right? I mean, all of us have seen the other side of the world, work for banks or work at banks. After coming to credit union, we are surprised. I mean, at least I was surprised that, there's actually an ecosystem that works for the people, that works for the consumer, not for making money, right? So it's a different mindset altogether. So I completely get you.
Absolutely.
Now,
Yeah, I was with a firm. Beneficial was the name of the company, and HFC was the sister company. So many of the folks that worked with me back then gravitated to the credit union space. So there's so many people throughout the credit union space that kind of cut their teeth in the industry in that consumer finance world. And I think we feel very fortunate and lucky to be working in credit unions with the culture that we have here. So
yeah, I mean, we should be proud about that. That what we're doing actually making a difference in every
yep,
day. That's the most important thing.
absolutely.
Now, Chris, you know what we mean by outliers, right? Outliers are people who do not fit in the mold, who make the world a better place. That's all. That's the reason I talk about all credit union soldiers, I would say, for the lack of better words, as outliers. Because yeah, we are making difference. We are financing an auto loan, no, not even an auto loan. We are financing a kid for the education on one side, to helping an immigrant like me who came to this country with their first credit card. Right? We are helping people move forward. So it's an actual thing that we're doing. So my question is, what does being an outlier actually mean to you in leadership, and how has that shaped your work at the credit union?
Yeah, I think speaking, I guess from an outlier position, when I came into retail, I'd never really been in retail banking. I'd always been on the lending side, and so I think a little bit of that is maybe bringing a different perspective, bringing a perspective of HSBC Bank into this organization. When I started, it was a lot different and challenge the status quo, that sort of thing. But I think now it's just a real leaning into the human side of banking, leading into technology is great. And also, our branches are busier than they've ever been.
Yep.
And so brick and mortar is still really important to us. So it kind of almost feels like an outlier in regard to we still really believe in brick and mortar, and we're still investing heavily in there, and our members are still needing that. So maybe that's a bit of an outlier. It's kind of come full circle. Like traditional thought pattern is now the outlier, I guess. So
Absolutely. And running a community-based credit union is not easy. It's difficult. And percent-based, at least you've got guardrails, you know whom to get. For a community-based, it's such an open charter. It changes every single day. It's not easy to keep up
yeah,
the pace where the fintechs of the world and the large banks of the world. It's not easy. So we really appreciate what you're doing for the credit union. Right now, we're talking about technology, right? I mean, from ordering my food last night to even maybe getting questions for this interview, for the matter of sake, right? The technology can do everything. I mean, gone are the days where we are still considering or thinking about technology as enablers. Now it is like if you talk about the Maslow's pyramid, so it has become the basic, right? That is like you need that. So in an era where technology can do almost everything and anything under the sun, what still makes the human side of banking irreplaceable? And how do you think that will stay alive? Because why do I ask the question? I think I told you earlier is that I appreciate getting auto decisioning on my personal loan or on a credit card in 2 minutes. Appreciate that. But if I want to buy a mortgage, if I want to get a mortgage, I'll still want to talk to someone in a branch. I mean, mortgages are not paid over. So definitely there's still place and there will be place for the human side of the banking forever for the next 100 years maybe. So what do you think, what still makes the human side of the banking irreplaceable? I mean, for people like me.
yeah. I think a lot of things. I think some of it may be geographical, like depending on where you are and how hard it is to get to a local branch, that sort of thing, may determine that. We believe strongly in technology. I mean, we've as an organization over my 15 years here have been an early adopter on a lot of technologies. We were one of the first to roll out ITMs more than 10 years ago and have a huge fleet now. We've always invested heavily into digital apps and that sort of thing. So definitely have leaned fully into that. But I think there's a portion of, being close to a branch and being able to talk to a human that still matters. Jamie Dimon has a great quote, one that I think about all the time, and it's people like to live close to their money. So yeah, you might be a fintech that doesn't have any brick and mortar, but there's something psychological that a customer or member wants to know. To your point, hey, if I do have a problem, I can go down the street and talk to the person that I've known that's been there for 10, 15, 20 years. And we have that. We have incredible longevity throughout our branch network. So
Makes sense. In terms of innovation, I don't call it, I'll be doing a horrible job if I talk about innovation of using data. That is basic of running any business, right?
yeah,
But still, let me ask you, so how do you use data at ORNL to create moments that actually mattered to the members? I was giving you an example a few minutes back. What do I mean by getting wowed? What a member means by getting wowed, like me.
yeah.
So how do you use data to do that?
We really lean into NPS scoring here, and we track it closely. So we're listening to our member through survey data, both in a scoring, numerical form, but also the comments. I try to read every comment that comes through, and
Yep.
we have a fantastic net promoter score as an organization. But we're not only tracking, overall relationship scores. We're tracking new account scores. We're tracking transactional scores after they come into a branch or visit a call or call the call center. So really, I think probably the biggest metric that we have is our NPS score, and then behind that NPS score, those comments that really tell us what our members thinking and where we should be going.
I see. Yeah, that's a good way of quantifying this, right? How do you measure? You talk about one initiative at the credit union that actually redefined what growth means. And it can be like acquisition, like organic, inorganic, bringing in new products, changing the entire experience layer, whatever, right? So, what is that one thing that actually redefined the growth at ORNL, and how do you think the members felt about it?
Yeah, I think in terms of what I'm responsible for, one of the biggest ones is our branch strategy, and we are really leaning into brick and mortar, and leaning into the fact that we are a retailer. So we want to make sure that our branches look fantastic. We want to make sure they look up to date. We want to make sure they provide the services and the convenience that our membership expects. So we've just completed 5 remodels. We have another 4 remodels that are underway right now. We have 3 ground ups that are coming out of the ground as we speak. That'll open early next year, and we have 2 to 3 more that we're planning over the next couple of years. East Tennessee is a growing area. There are a lot of people that want to move to East Tennessee. We are blessed also to have a ton of financial institutions and credit unions in our market as well. And so we just want to make sure that we're providing, the most convenient um, banking experience that we can. So
Got it. Let's talk about the culture thing now, right? So that's the reason both of us came here and stay here we stayed here for years. And I'm now hooked onto the credit union ecosystem, right? For sure. How do you build a culture where, like, what? Every team member, from the teller to the person who's developing marketing strategy for next year, are exactly on the same page and sees the entire ecosystem as a part of one single team. And that's not an easy thing to do for large organization. One is not a small organization. There's a lot of employees. So how do you build that culture where all of them work together at one common goal of serving members and focusing at financial wellness? That's what we are here for. So if you want to talk about the culture of the credit union, I bet that will be good
yeah,
addition.
I think it starts, it's maybe cheesy, but our mission being, together we thrive is kind of our mantra around here. So together as employees, together as members, we work together and we thrive. I think the culture in our industry is fantastic. I think the culture in our organization couldn't be better, and it all starts with service. Um, I was had the opportunity last month to attend Disney Institute, which was an incredible opportunity. And a lot of folks, would point to Disney as having that type of culture that's based on service. And I learned so much, and I was also proud of coming from an organization that I feel just as passionate about in terms of our ability to deliver the type of service that Disney does. Um, they had a saying there that stuck with me, and I hope it's how we're leading, whether you're on the front line or on the back office. But it's okay to be off task as long as you are on purpose. Um, and I really think that embodies what Disney does, but I also think it embodies what we do here at the credit union as well. Um, we have the task of doing a teller transaction, completing a loan payment, whatever it may be. But we have a bigger purpose as well. So sometimes we may have to be off that task, but we're on purpose of helping that member thrive or helping that employee thrive. And I think we do a really nice job of that.
Yep, that's a very well thought out answer by the way. And that's not a very frequent answer that I get. It's a very thought out answer. Maybe in the interest of time, Chris, I would want to, ask you one question, right? Because trying to keep interviews within 15, 16, 17 minutes so that it's quick, impactful. One question, I know you don't have a crystal ball, but still, talking about legacy, right? There's a reason because of which we invited you to the podcast because we think you as an outlier. So a few years from now, maybe 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, I don't know how long will you stay in viral, but I wish that you stay over there for forever, right? And help grow the credit union and help serve members. So what impact or legacy would you want your work at ORNL to be remembered for? I mean, how will people remember Chris in ORNL after a few years?
Yeah, I think it's a great question, and it is something that I do think about often. I think about the people that came before me a lot, that came before our leadership team a lot. And, we started in 1948 with $50 on deposit, and now
Actually,
we're over
wow.
$4.5 billion. And we are truly, as a leadership team, as a employee base, standing on the shoulders of giants that came before us. And so I just think about all the big decisions they made. The decision to go to a community charter back when they did. The decision to alter the logos or slightly alter the name, or go into new markets or go through mergers or whatever they did. And I just hope that my legacy is that I contributed to that growth. But maybe more important than anything is the people, and making sure that the people around me are achieving more than they maybe thought they could achieve. So hopefully coaching them to new opportunities that they didn't even know that they could achieve. And I think if our people are successful, then our membership's going to be successful. So I think hopefully leaving a legacy of leadership and of service to those people who work for me and work around me.
So, Chris, this was great. It was amazing talking to you and you sharing our perspective, being an outlier, right? So, again, thank you for your time today. Really
Yeah,
appreciate your insights.
yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.